Hello friends, welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. I know it has been a long time since I said hi and I deeply apologize for that. I just want to jump right in because this video will be a little bit longer than the rest of my videos previously have been, just because I want to explain again where have I been for so long and why I'm restarting the channel now. If you watched my previous video, then you would have heard me say that things are changing on this channel, that I am entering a new season and I really don't know where this is going to take me, and then I had to take a break. Before I go any further, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm shooting inside House of Light. Like I mentioned in my last video, this is a new studio. Well, we've been up for about a year and a half now, but at the time it was a new studio that me and my business partner opened. We had the dream of opening a photography studio for some years and we finally did it. I thought it would be the perfect setting for today's video as I share what's been new and happening in my life and how I got into this place. Let me stop here and say that I'm going to be inserting clips over the past year that I have just randomly taken. Just wanted to document my life a little bit. I didn't know what I was documenting, but I think it was for this video. So I did take some clips during this whole year that you will see what I've been up to. Let's take it back to the beginning. So when I made that last video that you saw me in, I was in emotional distress. I don't know if you could tell from the video, but I just was not feeling good. I was not happy with my life. At the time, again, we had just opened up this studio with my fiance at the time, but that relationship dissolved around the same time that we opened up this studio. So it was a very emotional time for me. There was a lot of confusion about what the future looked like, and so I just really did not feel the energy to put into making content, and all I could really preserve energy for was to try and move forward, think about next steps, what it looks like with a future without this person that I thought was going to be my forever person. So grateful for the studio because I literally prayed for this studio, like the divine steps that happened just between me and God. I don't know about his side of things, but between me and God, the divine steps that were taken for us to get that studio, I know this was a blessing from the Lord. After I left that relationship, I moved in with my mother to stay with her for a little bit, and I thought it was only going to be a couple of months, and it turned out to be a whole year, which was great. I'm so grateful for my mom being there for me always. She has always opened her door. She's always said, if you need anything, call me. You know, she's always been that supportive person. I love her to death for it. So she allowed me and my son to stay with her for that year. And after a year, I just was really thinking, like, I never lived alone. I had never lived by myself. I went from being in my mother's house to being in my sister and her mother's house. When I went to college, I stayed out there in New York. Grateful for Mama Al and my sister. They took me in. And so after I lived with them, I met my ex and moved in with him. And so there was never a time where I was just alone by myself, enjoying my freedom, figuring myself out. I always said to myself, it felt like I was growing up while learning a whole new person, learning how to be in a long-term relationship with somebody while also figuring out myself. So that was something that I came to terms with. It's like, I need to learn how to live alone, be by myself, understand myself more, understand what I like. You know, it's really different when you are with somebody, when you live with somebody. You might start to compromise on certain things just for like the piece of the household that you didn't even realize. And you start to lose pieces of yourself, really. You're like, okay, well, I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to order this, or I'm going to eat this just because it's easier, and I know that, you know, we will have a good night, or it'll make life easier just to do these things in a certain way when you're with somebody. And so I really just wanted to have the freedom to just be on my own, do whatever I want, decorate how I want, live how I want freely. And it has been a blast. After that year, I was apartment hunting for a long time. I wanted this transition to be a short 3-month period, and it turned into a year. But throughout that whole time, I kept looking at apartments. I was searching, I was trying to find something that would fit in my budget. It was also a different space because not only had I left the man that I grew up with for 10 years, I left the home that I picked out for us to live in, I also had to leave my job because my job at the time was not paying enough. I was working part-time. That money was not going to be able to sustain me and my son if we were to live by ourselves. So I had to leave that job and find a full-time position somewhere else, which I ended up doing. Now, while I'm apartment hunting, let me just say the market out here is trash. I remember, looking at apartments with my partner in the past, and I think our first apartment together was like a 2-bedroom apartment on the top floor. We had a loft inside, 2-bedroom apartment in 2025. And these apartment buildings out here want you to make 3 times the rent, have this proof of this proof of that, these references, all these types of fees for amenities and da-da-da-da-da. I was over it. It took me so long to find a good spot, but I didn't want to rush it. There were times where I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this apartment. I was so sure of it. And it just fell through. And they would take my application fees and administrative fees. Like, it was like $300 here and $350 there. It was just annoying and frustrating. I was just very in that mindset. Again, not thinking about content, not thinking about modeling. I was just trying to figure out what my next move was. And during this time, I wasn't taking on modeling gigs. Again, I wasn't making content. I actually did not show up to one of my modeling jobs that I was booked for because I was just so depressed and emotional. And I got reprimanded from my agency about it, which I understand, that's their client. You can't just not show up to things. I could have communicated that earlier to them. I definitely should have, but just in the state that I was in, I was literally crying on my mother's floor. Like, I had no emotional capacity to walk down a runway, let alone let you know that I'm not going to be able to make it. Mind you, I did tell them I wasn't going to be able to make it, but it was like an hour before the show. So I could have told them early in the day. And I was contemplating like, okay, I should go. I need to go. But I couldn't do it. So, and really something flipped inside of me where I was just like, I'm done with modeling. Like, I think because I had attached so much of modeling to that last relationship, like, again, if you guys know me and know my story, I started in the background of camera work. Like, I went to school for film production. I've talked about this before. I was supposed to be making movies. I'm still going to be making movies. That's still a part of the journey. But I did not see myself in front of the camera until I met my ex, and he was a photographer, and we decided to take pictures. And I decided to post them. And I'm thinking like, okay, let me see how beneficial this can be for me. A lot of my modeling time and experience made me think about him, and I think that's why I wanted to just be like, you know what, I'm done with modeling. I don't need this anymore. I didn't take on modeling jobs. I still haven't fully stepped back into modeling. I want to, but I just have so much reservations because the industry is just something else to think about and deal with, and that'll be a whole different conversation. But I wasn't modeling, I wasn't creating content, and I'm just trying to find a place to live with my son. After a year of searching, we found a spot, and it was not what I wanted exactly, and I think that was what hindered me the most from moving in sooner, because I wanted a specific look. I've already been used to like apartments, and I was coming from a house, so I wanted a specific look of what my apartment should look like. And God said, you're going to take what I give you. We found an apartment that was really close to my son's school, so it really worked out because that's what I wanted anyway. It's not what I wanted, but it's what I needed. And I'm so grateful for that apartment. I'm still there, and I love it. It's home now. And in between, all of this transitional period, I am a mom. Right? Like, I have a little boy that I brought into this world and now have to navigate our relationship to just you and me here and you and him over there. It's been like a challenging time to navigate that transition, right? Like, having to explain why mom and dad are not together, having to explain why I can't go back to the house or his dad can't come to my house. Like, just breaking that down to a toddler is very emotionally stressful sometimes. I love my baby boy. He's so patient. He's so empathetic. He sees everything. Children see everything. And he's just been such the sweetest and kindest during this whole time. He's been very like empathetic towards me and his dad. Like he sees that we are upset about the outcome of this relationship. And so he's been very, I don't know how to explain it. He's been very empathetic, very nurturing for a little boy, and I'm just so blessed to have him. So yeah, I'm navigating that space of being a single mom now, having to deal with everything on my own. We do have a great co-parenting style. Like I definitely think I'm very grateful for the partner that I do have as my child's father, because it could be a lot worse, and I've heard stories, and I'm praying for all you mamas out there. We have a good relationship where we can co-parent well, and obviously we are business partners. There's a level of respect and mutual understanding that goes across the board when we are dealing with each other, which I'm very grateful for. I've been coming out of survival mode and getting a handle on being single mom life and, doing things on my own. And then I am also trying to level up at my job. Should we get into it? Let's get into it. So like I said, I had to take on a full-time job. I was the education manager at a nonprofit organization that I, again, prayed for. Me and God had a discussion about the type of work that I wanted to do and, what I would like to have as my next job. And he delivered on all of that, okay? It was everything that I had asked for the most part. Be careful what you ask God for, because he will give you exactly that. So I went back to work, and it was in office. Again, I used to work from home on my computer, had control over my own time. And I was part-time. This was a full-time position. I was working in an office setting, and my office setting was all female. It was a very different dynamic, but the work I was doing was great. Like I loved what I did. I love working with nonprofits because of the missions that are behind those nonprofits. And so I was working with kids at the time, being able to exercise my creative and strategic juices a little bit. I had some freedoms in some areas, and it was really cool. It was really working until it wasn't. Everything that I have gone through over the last year and a half, the last 2 years, even prior to that, but just specifically these last 2 years have been very divinely orchestrated. And I was doing good at work, but my supervisors were not trying to see it. Like they were acting blind to the work that I was doing. And there's a whole other video that I can talk about toxic workplaces, but that is what it eventually became, a toxic workplace, and they ended up letting me go. And that was the only way that I was going to leave. I could tell that the environment that they were trying to create at the end of my term with them was to push me out. And one thing about me, I love a challenge. Try it with me, okay? You're not going to push me out. You're not going to force me to leave. If you want me gone, tell it to my face, which is what they had to do. But it was for a reason, because I was so overwhelmed. Like I was working so much, balancing this full-time job. I'm balancing now running House of Light, owning a studio, and managing the day-to-day logistics of being a studio owner, mommyhood, single mommyhood, picking up my son after school, cooking dinners, making sure homework is done, doing the things, and then also serving on the board of directors for the Las Vegas Fashion Council out here. I was doing so much. I was just tired all the time, and I really wasn't able to give my all to things because I was really in this full-time position that paid my bills, and I felt like I needed to set most of my attention on. Right? Again, it's only been 3 weeks since I left that job, but I feel like I have not been there hasn't been a day where I haven't been like doing something and something productive. I mean, like I have been able to pour so much more into House of Light, which I'm so happy about, because I was really just thinking like, this is my business and I haven't been able to give my all to it. Like there's so much more marketing we could be doing. I'm trying to maximize events out here. If you follow House of Light on Instagram, make sure you do, please. You will see that we are maxing out the space with doing monthly events in here for the community. And I just want to make it like somewhere that I want to be too. You know, that's why I'm like, I could be doing content in here. Like I have this whole space that I'm not using to its full capacity because I'm at this 9 to 5. So yeah, so I think God was really saying, okay, we tried it your way. I gave you what you wanted. And yes, you can excel at that, but you are too big for that space. Like honestly and truly, I feel like the Lord was saying, you need to be doing other things because that over there is really a distraction. Yes, it may be paying your bills, but I am God and I can provide. Like that's ultimately what I feel like my spirit is saying. And so now we are here back in the studio creating content for you guys, and I am very excited about this new chapter that I am leaning into. But I know a lot of you guys are here from my modeling content and you're probably wondering, okay, but what about the modeling tips? Are you still going to be sharing modeling content? Is this just going to be all about your new business? What is actually going to be happening on this channel? I got you. Yes, there will be a shift, right? I'm not going to just be focusing on modeling content because I feel like I am more than just a model. And that was really the disconnect when I was just focused on model key activities. It's like, I am more than just a model. I am a robust person, and I want people to see that. I want you to see the ins and outs of being an entrepreneur. I want you to see the ins and outs of being a single mom. I want you to see the ins and outs of me rediscovering myself and finding what I love to do. Like I have discovered so many hobbies since I have started living on my own. It has been great. It's been a great time. 10 out of 10 recommend for the ladies. If you haven't lived by yourself, make sure you do it first before moving in with anybody, man or female. So I have still been dipping and dabbling in the modeling arts, right? So when people would reach out to me, I would still see about, doing some photo shoots. Like I recently just did a photo shoot for a very talented designer here out in Las Vegas. She's also one of our members at the Las Vegas Fashion Council. So it was really fun to do the shoot with her. I'll try and put some pictures on screen, but you can see all of those photos on my Instagram as well. If you're not following me, you should. And I've continued to do my runway coaching, which I love to do. It is one of my favorite things to do is to do runway coaching for the young ladies or even like older professionals who just want a stronger walk when they are entering the room. Also thinking about opening up one-on-ones inside of House of Light. So if you guys are interested in that or more like runway content that I can film in here, make sure you leave it in the comments below so that I can know that that's what you want. I have been doing some one-on-one lessons, and I am going to be opening up runway workshops in the studio, so that is to come. So there's definitely going to be some modeling content still on here because I think that's just a part of who I am. Actually, I have a model video coming up in my next video for you guys, so make sure your notifications on so you are alerted to when that drops. But for now, this channel is just going to be a merger of all things key. And ultimately, I wouldn't be able to come back on camera and share my story if I didn't have Jesus on my side. I'm being so for real. This is all divinely orchestrated by the Lord, and I do plan to share more of my spiritual journey with you guys on this channel. I know I posted some of my podcast episodes on here for you guys, so if you haven't listened to any of those, please do. I will be transitioning that content over to a different platform. And I'll let you guys know about that when it happens. But for now, you can enjoy them. Until then, yeah, I just want to be really transparent about my life as an individual and all the things that I've been through. And sometimes, you have to pause and get yourself together before you can pour out to your people and your community. You have to make sure your cup is filled. And I can finally say that I've been taking this time to fill up my own cup to, again, know myself a little better, know what I like, know what I truly want, and now it's time to actually go out and go for it. And since this is a refresh of the channel, please drop some suggestions down in the comments to let me know what you guys think that I should do next for some videos. I definitely want to make sure that I am creating content that you guys want to see, but also being authentic and true to myself and showing my actual journey here. I know this was a lot of information and maybe a little bit all over the place. I hope that you were following with me, and I hope that you stick around for more of the content that I want to share with you guys. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for continuing with me on this journey, and I will see you guys in my next video. Look at this. Cute. So good to be back.